It's now September, the month that bridges between summer and autumn. And it's a time of year of change, lots of changes in colour, changes in the length of the day and changes in temperature. Autumn to me is a truly special time. The colours are so vibrant and it's so special for wildlife photography. Summer visitors are starting to leave and the autumn migrant birds are starting to arrive here in the UK. So as summer shifts to autumn, we start to see wildlife and especially birds on the move. This video, Autumn Visitors, is the third video that I've done on visiting migrant birds coming into the UK. I did one earlier in the year on winter visitors, and then I did one on spring and summer visitors to the UK, and I'll leave a link to that at the end of this video. In this video what I want to do is look at 4 autumn visitors that we'll get here in the UK. That's the short-eared owl, the whooper swan, the golden plover and the common pochard. What we'll do is we'll look at how to identify them, we'll look at their habitat, where we can find them, we'll look at some of their lifestyle and behaviour, and I'll give you some top tips along the way. So let's go find them. The first bird we're going to look at is the short-eared owl. It's one of the most awaited migrants in autumn. The movements are very unpredictable, and in some years we'll get really good numbers and in others smaller numbers coming into the UK. So how do we identify the short-eared owl? Well, the short-eared owl are medium-sized owls. They have mottled brown bodies, they have pale underwings, they have yellow eyes, so they have a pale face with yellow eyes, and they have small tufts which aren't actually ears, and they sometimes can be quite difficult to see. Short-eared owl can often be confused with the long-eared owl, but the long-eared owl has large tufts which are quite prominent at times, and they also have orange eyes. When it comes to the short-eared owl's call, it consists of 10 or more short hoots, which you'll see in the short clip that I'm going to show you now. That can be followed by hoarse screeches and sort of like barking, and again you'll see this in the short video clip of the 2 short-eared owls who confront each other. This is absolutely ideal habitat for short-eared owl, and I have seen up to 3 short-eared owls hunting along this hillside. Short grassed, plenty of cover for them, ground dwelling birds, well, ground nesting birds as well. Absolutely ideal habitat for the short-eared owl. Short-eared owl's diet consists mainly of things like voles, mice, rats and small birds. Top tip for the short-eared owl is not to go chasing them, rather than just let the short-eared owl come to you. They are quite flighty, so the best idea is pick a spot, sit down and wait for them to come to you. Top tip, short-eared owl. Okay, the next autumn visitor we're going to look at is the whooper swan. Whooper swans arrive here in the UK in late autumn. They come here to spend the winter, arriving mainly from Iceland. So how do we actually identify the whooper swan? Well, the whooper swan is a large white swan. It's got a very long, thin neck, and that's important when we look at a similar winter visitor that we get. It has a pointed V wedge shaped head, and it has black legs. It has a black bill. It has a large yellow patch, which is an important indicator again when we compare it to another winter visitor that we get here. The whooper swan is very similar to the Buick swan, which is another winter visitor that we get here. They can be confused, however the difference between the whooper swan and the Buick swan is that the Buick swan is quite considerably smaller than the whooper swan, and it has less yellow on its bill, and you'll see that in the video clips that I'm going to run. So that you'll be able to tell the difference between a whooper swan and a Buick swan, and it's down to the whooper swan is larger in size than the Buick, and also the Hooper Swan has a larger yellow patch on its bill than the Buick, and you'll see that in these clips. When it comes to the Hooper Swan's call, it's a very high, vocal, deep, bugle-like sound. And again, you'll see that in the clip that I'm going to show you now. Sounds like a bugle. So where are we going to find Hooper Swans? Well, Hooper Swans will frequent places like lakes, marshes, estuaries, coastal bays and open farmland. And I would probably suggest that the most likely place that you're going to see Hooper Swans is actually on open farmland. And again, you'll see that in the videos that I'm going to show you. When it comes to the Hooper Swan's diet, Hoopers will often feed in fields during the day, eating crops like leftover potatoes and grain before heading to roost on open water. They'll also eat aquatic plants, grass and grain. Top tip, use your vehicle as a hide. Migratory birds arriving into the UK arrive in their tens of thousands, and they spend a lot of time resting and feeding and roosting in fields and open water. Thing is, from a vehicle you can get great sights of them. Try not get out your vehicle, because if you spook one bird, that one bird can then set the whole flock off and then they're gone. But you need to be safe as well. Make sure that you're parked in a safe place. Use your binos to get some good views and also to get some decent photographs. Let the birds come to you, really is the idea. Next bird we're going to look at is the golden plover. They spend the majority of their summer up in the upland moorlands, and come autumn, this time of year, September time, they move down into lower farmland. And indeed in my local area we do see golden plover in the local fields. And they also habitate in coastal areas, as I said, from September onwards. So how do we identify the golden plover? Well, the golden plover basically has two separate coats. It has a summer coat and it has a winter coat. Its summer coat, it has a quite distinctive black throat, chest and belly, and a spotted gold and black cap. In winter, the golden plover then turns to more like a buff colour, and it has a pale throat, chest and belly. Golden plover is very similar to the grey plover, but the grey plover is much smaller than the grey plover, and it's more a silver and black speckled coat, or black rather than gold like on the golden plover. And the grey plover is only found in coastal areas. The golden plover's call, it's varying with pitches in it, and the pitches are normally in two distinctive tones, with the second note being slightly higher, and here it is. So where are we going to find the golden plover? Well, as I said, they nest during the summer up in the upper moorlands, and come early autumn, September time, they'll start moving down onto lower farmland and coastal muddy estuaries around the coast, and they will at times form quite large flocks. Golden plover's diet consists of things mainly like worms, beetles and insects. Top tip for migratory birds, especially in coastal areas, is to photograph them at high tide. What happens is that high tide forces the birds inland, and they will come a lot nearer to you, and you can get some great views and great opportunities to get images. So check your tide tables if you're going to the coastal areas at this time of year, and plan it around high tide when the birds will be forced inland. Okay, the final bird that we're going to look at today is the common pochard. Here in the UK we only have a resident population of about 500 pairs. Come autumn, as many as up to 100,000 pairs will arrive in the UK to stay for the winter. So how do we identify the common pochard? Well, it's a diving duck, it's quite a plump bird. It has a brown head with a black beak, grey flank, has a black chest and a black rear end. and very distinctively it has a stunning red eye. The females tend to be darker, duller and grey-brown. When it comes to the Pochard's call, they tend to be relatively silent birds, but they do make a variety of calls. Low whistling and hoarse quacking, and here it is. Really the only bird that the common pochard can be misidentified against is the red-crested pochard. Now the UK population of the red-crested have arisen from private collections, so they're all escapees, and they're much larger than the common pochard. They have a bright red bill and they have brown upper parts. Pochard can be found on lakes, ponds, on coastal rivers and on estuaries. The pochard's diet consists mainly of things like plants and seeds, snails, small fish and insects. Top tip, again for migratory birds, is the time of the day. It really applies for all wildlife photography really. The best times of day to photograph wildlife and birds is sunset and sunrise, but autumn really brings a special time with the colours that are around, and if you're photographing in the golden hour you can get some great shots. So try and plan your visits to go and photograph migratory birds around sunset and sunrise. What I want to do now is just leave you with some of my favourite images of autumn visitors, migratory birds coming here into the UK, and I hope you enjoy them. Okay, thanks for watching this edition of Kevin Hatley Photography and Autumn Migrant Visitors to the UK. I hope you've enjoyed it as much as I have actually filming it and sharing that knowledge and experience with you. All I would ask is that if you've liked the video, could you hit the like button? Could I also ask you to subscribe to my channel, Kevin Hatley Photography. It's completely free, it doesn't cost anything, and what it does, it just allows me to promote the channel and get my knowledge and my experience and share it with other people around the world. So, until the next time, stay safe, take care, and I hope to see you soon. Bye for now.